Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Ashni. I am the demand gen manager with Replicon and I am joined by Curtis, our product marketing specialist. Welcome to the webinar on gaining time intelligence insights with Tableau, Power BI and more. Today we will be showing you how Replicon platform can integrate with the BI programs to give you deeper insights into the operations of your organization. So here's a quick look at the agenda for today's webinar. First, we will touch on some benefits of the Replicon platform and how it can connect to the BI programs so that it can give you the in-depth analytics about your organization. Then we'll hop into the product to see everything in action that will be taken up by Curtis. So Curtis is going to take us through a quick demo of whatever we speak of right now. After that, we will look into how our platform has helped customers like you manage their time in the most effective way. And finally, we'll move into the Q&A session. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. Throughout today's webinar, you will all be on mute. So if you have any questions or concerns, do feel free to put them up in the chat box on your screens. We will make sure that we answer all the questions that are coming up towards the end of the webinar today. All right, so let's get started then. You all have been a part of the Replicon family for quite some time now, and I think as you all know, at Replicon, we believe that people's time is a strategic asset, and the management of this time should be, or I'm going to say, is the top priority. To run as efficiently as possible and make the best business decisions, I believe that businesses need to account for 100% of all resources time today. But it is not, it's easy to forget actually how much time you have at your disposal. Typically, we have seen that 1,000 employee workforce actually logs about 2 million hours a year. So for most businesses, how this time was utilized can typically be a very difficult question to answer. And all of this is, I can say, because following time information across different software is of the most difficult part. The process can be slow, there can be information that is lost, or there can be a mistranslation in information. So there needs to be some way to bridge the gap between the multiple systems that you're using and the time capture that you're doing today. Also, today, as you know, organizations like you can face a lot of challenges which may in turn affect the cost of the company, the project you're working on, the gross pay that is being calculated, the compliance calculation that is happening, or the utilization, the productivity, or the profitability of your resources and your organization on the whole. But if I keep all these challenges at par, I'm pretty sure that business leaders like you need consistent data to make the correct decisions for their organization, and this needs to steer it towards efficiency and the growth of your organization. So Replicon's time intelligence platform, as you have been using today, provides businesses like yours with the single source of truth that you need for your time data. You have been with us, I think, long enough to know that what differentiates us from all the other vendors out there is our unified approach for making it hassle-free and for managing time completely as an asset. So we try and meet all your time tracking needs, and because we are super configurable for all your business requirements, it's easy to use us for any requirements or any needs that you have today. We have scaled seamlessly from small to large organizations. We have also grown with your company regardless of how rapidly you expand. Also, with that expansion, or if that expansion is global, I can say that Replicon can grow in that regard too. So with features like multiple currencies, with features like languages where your system can be translated into different languages, with time zones built in, Replicon can truly excel at the international level for you too if need be. And Replicon has been doing this by enabling security and governance for businesses. A lot of you actually, I'm sure, have been using our mobile apps, and we can assure you that it uses the latest and the greatest technology today. It is also constantly evolving so that we can help your business manage time in the most efficient manner. And you can Today, easily connect our platform with any ecosystem of yours using our web service API so that you can get your time, your cost, your pay, your billing data, everything to the backend systems of your liking with ease. Replicon, as you've seen, as you've experienced, offers a comprehensive suite, so you can tailor the program to be whatever you need it to be in the most hassle-free manner. For some of you, I think we manage time. For the others, there's cost that we're managing. There are some of you that we're doing the people and profit management. But today, what we're going to do is that today we're going to be looking at how our platform can not only interpret and display the information that you're feeding into it, but we can also interact with the different BI tools that you're using today to give you a total control over your information. So we did a little study, we spoke to some of you, and we understood that the businesses run into challenges around BI because of their siloed or closed systems. We also know that it is not uncommon for any organization to get custom connectors that are built or pull this information into Excel. You have to have multiple team members. You have to spend time getting that data so that they can consolidate it and they have some analytics that they can build on it. A lot of businesses we found faced issues with admin overheads. There was stale data. There were concerns around access. There were security issues. So we thought that the right approach would be to enable an organization's BI ecosystem by providing a robust API support for fast and real-time data extraction. So having pre-built connectors for any commonly used BI tools and supporting custom analytics requirement so that we could consolidate the data from other sources with the help of API to pull and feed into any data warehouses or any BI tools or any data lakes that you're using today. So this is how Replicon approaches business analytics. You have the power of choice so that you can decide to go with built-in analytics, or if you want to power your BI ecosystem with Replicon data along with the data from other systems, our pre-built connectors for Tableau, for Power BI, for Google BigQuery, and our Power for API, the web service API that we offer can help you doing that. You must have, I think all of you must have already seen and used our built-in analytics, and I am sure you've leveraged our pre-packaged dashboards or configurable reports to view the data in the way you actually want it to be. In the reports and dashboards we offer today, you have the power of getting the historical information that's going to enable planning and forecasting. You also get real-time visibility into the metrics that you need so that you can share it with your organization or your key decision makers. But there are a lot of cases that we saw where your business needs the time intelligence data to consolidate with the data from other systems. And that is why we built this feature and we got you covered with it. So here you can actually liberate the time intelligence data and power your BI ecosystem. Our platform has pre-packaged connectors for BI tools like Tableau, Power BI, or if you have your own data warehouse strategy, be it on-prem or cloud-based, we can support you with our open, robust API that we have today. We also have a connector for Google BigQuery for your cloud-based data lakes and data warehouses. So to make it easy to use, we provide sample dashboards. We have made workbooks available so that you can experience the powerful Replicon data. And we also support predefined business objects for data modeling. The best part of the API is that we have made it permission driven so that whatever access you have within your system is the same access you can get when you connect to your BI tools. I'm not going to delay this anymore. I'm going to pass things over to Curtis so that he can show you a quick demo of how this connector is going to work and how things will look like once they are connected with the BI tools. So Curtis, I'm handing things over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Ashni. Hi, everyone. This is Curtis. Before we get going, I'm just going to give you a recap. We're going to look at the Replicon platform first and just get an idea of those analytics. And then we'll move into Tableau and Power BI to understand how Replicon can connect with those and really unleash your data and give you full control over your organization's information. So I'm sure you've all seen this screen many times before. This is our online web platform. And really at the heart of Replicon is time. And we capture time in so many different ways. We have the platform like you see here, we have our mobile app, and we have our cloud clock. But time isn't the only thing we capture. We have a robust project feature where we can help you plan projects from their inception all the way to completion. We have a billing feature that you can actually directly invoice from Replicon. We can do revenue runs, payroll information. You have expense tracking, vacation tracking, all that. So at any time, Replicon has a ton of information being fed into it. And information is good, but having too much can make it difficult to understand, parse through, translate, and you need tools to help you with that. So at Replicon, we provide you a plethora of different tools to understand your information. The most straightforward would be reports. I'm sure we've all seen one or two reports in our time. And we have a host of them here. These are the ones that we have requested most by our customers. That being said, sometimes you might need to tweak things or change a little bit here and there, and that's totally okay because our reports are totally configurable and customizable. So you can dig into each report and change whatever you need. We have tons of metrics that you can sort by. So really it's up to you to make the reports what you want them. We also have dashboards. So someone who needs a little bit more visual or a little bit more panache, our dashboards provide that. The dashboards, like our reports, are fully customizable and fully configurable. And again, you have so many metrics that you can sort through, different types of graphs, filters. And these dashboards are all permission-based. So only the information that you're given access to is what you'll see here. And they're perfect for exporting into slideshows for leadership, presentations, or just giving anyone who needs information on organizational health. They can just check things out at a quick glance. All these dashboards are drillable. So if there's something you want to find out a little bit more, you can click on that dashboard and it takes you inside. So for example, here we can compare our yearly annual client profitability as well as the profitability within each client. So if we want to see XOXO Communications, they're definitely our lowest profitable client right now. We can drill into that and we can see which projects within that client are the least profitable and just give us a better understanding of where we are with each client. And that being said, we know that you have data in more than one place. You have a huge ecosystem, CRM, ERP, HR, and you want all that data to interact with each other. You don't want it separated and siloed, because if you want to understand your organization as best as you can, a 360-degree view, you need all that information interacting together. So that's why we've developed our BI connectors to programs like Tableau and Power BI. To connect to Tableau is super simple. It's just a web connector. And once you're connected, you'll actually have to log into your instance. And this is nice for a couple of reasons. One, it adds that added layer of security. So only information that someone is given access to in Replicon is what they'll be able to see in this BI. The other really nice thing is everything is being fed into your instances in real time. So anytime something's entered into Replicon, it'll translate over to Tableau in real time. So you're not sorting through spreadsheets, trying to pull information, hoping it's correct or hoping it's current. You just can trust your information because it's being fed directly from our program into these BI connectors. So BI kind of has two main user experiences. There's the power user who likes to dig down deep and will be using this screen more. We'll touch on that a little bit later, but for the more general user experience, we have our workbooks. And workbooks are they're basically a template. We give you the template. We have a number of different templates that we can provide you. And by feeding your information from Replicon into here, everything will be populated. You can sort things by like year, cost. So you're giving control over this. And just for this example, we'll keep everything on hours. So we believe this dashboard is perfect for telling you the overall health of your company. It really gives you an idea of where you are using all your hours, a 360-degree view. Because a lot of times it can be easy to just say, if we're working on a project, we're making money, right? But it's not always the case. For example, we have overhead, we have project time, and that is billable or non-billable, and there's a lot of factors that play with each other. So it's really important to understand where all your hours are going and how you can make them work to your benefit, changing that non-billable time into billable time and those non-project hours into project hours. So to kind of understand the story of our organization's health, I like to start on the left side here. So we can see we have our total working hours here. The green is our healthy working time. Purple is time off. That's unavoidable. But what's interesting to note is we have a large gap in between our actually worked hours and our estimated hours. And what's even more interesting is that we have a bunch of over-allocated hours on the bottom here, which usually means we're incurring overtime and increasing our overhead. And we can definitely fit those over-allocated hours in this gap here. So it's showing us that we are not effectively using the hours that we have. So to understand this, we can drill down a little bit deeper and get a quick look at the health of our organization at a glance. So here we can see there's one department that the ratio of working time to over-allocated hours is quite high, and that's marketing. So we can actually drill down and see, yeah, compared to, for example, customer service or customer success, we have a lot of overtime hours, but not quite as many working hours. So this really gives us an understanding of where it might need some help, whether it be through hiring or distributing hours better. Marketing is incurring a lot of overhead. And to tie in with that, we have our productivity. So obviously, working on a project is ideal. You want to minimize your non-project time, but there's some instances where that's unavoidable, right? Some positions will incur more non-project time than others. But this view really allows you to dig deep in each department and understand where the productivity is. So in corporate, we can see we're ranging from 85 to 89, customer success, a little bit higher, and our marketing productivity is actually one of the highest in the company. It'll be interesting to take a look at those though and compare this to utilization because they both tell pretty different stories. So let's actually jump into our utilization. And here we can say, sure, we have 89% project time, but that's divided by billable and non-billable time. And as we were talking about before, marketing had a lot of project time, but if we look here, we can see, well, we have 5 users that are actually logging no billable hours. And that could be for a number of reasons. One is maybe they're just not logging their time correctly. And that warrants a discussion because if an organization wants to understand how our hours are being used and keep tabs and be most efficient, we need everyone on board with time tracking. Or maybe they're just not actually logging any billable hours. Maybe they're bogged down in a project and they need some support. Who knows what the reason is, but this is incurring higher costs because we're not working towards these billable hours and we're not making money. So again, we've drilled down and started to understand where the hours in our organization are going and how they're being used. And once we understand this, we can get a better outlook on planning projects and how our current projects are going. So we can see our projects top 10 by total hours. There's one that really sticks out to me, and that's dashboarding. We have a huge amount of non-billable hours. So why don't we drill down into here and take a little bit of a deeper dive. So dashboarding, we've had pretty consistent hours being used from January to September, but in October, November, and December, they almost quadrupled. So that warrants a little bit of investigation. So we can drill down even further and see, okay, well, we have a lot of users working on this project, but they are spread pretty thin. And most of them are just logging non-billable time, which again, is not ideal. And so it looks like we have a little bit of a runaway project on our hands. So this really is a good indicator that we might need to start reining things in, focusing on getting this project done so we can stop the hemorrhaging. And another important thing to note about overhead and project hours is overhead is just not the non-project time. It also affects our working hours. So a good metric to look at is the time off by month. So for example, we can see October has almost 3,000 more hours worked than September. So that means, or time off than September. So that means September has 3,000 more working hours than October. So obviously in October, you're going to have people covering those hours. And again, most likely incurring overtime, and they'll be working a lot harder. So by understanding when your employees take their time off, you can better help manage these time off types and time off times so that we're not leaving people out to dry and we're having better overlap. So we're not incurring as much overhead. And everything here again is sortable. So if you want to identify outliers in time off, for example, here we can sort by highest and personal leave. We can see Mila Sanson is taking far and away more of a time off in the personal leave category than anyone else. And maybe you know about this, but maybe you don't. But again, it's giving you the information to understand how your organization is using their business, using their hours, and really just giving you a 360-degree view of everything that's going into your employees and resources. And for some people, most people, these workbooks work great. They're very easy to understand, easy to use, but there are some positions that might require a little bit of a deeper dive, and we do give you the ability with that in Tableau and Power BI, which we'll look at in a minute. But there are a ton of metrics that you import from these instances, and you can really sort them to be whatever you need them to be. So one of the most common asks we get is project. So we can pull a project into that sheet here, and then we'll be given different metrics within that project information. So if I want to make a chart about total estimated contract values, it's actually quite simple because there's really only two metrics that we need to look at. So we can pull our name information, add our total estimated contract value here, and we're already making charts. So this will give us an idea of where our contract is in our organization, and how we can manage which projects are kind of the high importance and which ones are a little bit lower. And you can make these as simple or as in-depth as you'd like. So you can start to pull other information into these charts. So example would be if we pull project information and timesheet, and then let's pull in task here. And you can start to understand that once you start uploading other information like CRM and HR, you'll have a whole wealth of information at your hands, and you have total control over how this interacts with each other to get a holistic view of everything going on in your organization. And all of this exists in Power BI as well. We like to give you options when it comes to which connectors you use because they are very similar, but there will be nuances, and some people will prefer one or the other. So we're giving you the option to use one, the other, or both. And just like you saw in Tableau, we have this wealth of information at our hands. So there's 213,000 data points that we have uploaded from one instance. So you can imagine once you really start incorporating everything else into here, you have so much information to parse through. And again, like Tableau, we have control over how this information interacts with each other. So you can see that it's divided by departments, sub-departments, and each one of those sub-departments has those data packages in them. And then once you've decided how you want everything to work, you'll get, again, these dashboards, these beautiful visualizations that are super easy to understand for everyone and just give you such in-depth analysis on your organization. And another beautiful thing is that these charts and analysis can work both ways. So you can import information from Replicon and export it to Replicon. If you have everything stored on premises, perfect. Or if you're using a cloud like BigQuery, for example, we have connectors for that too. So the transformation and transportation of data is seamless and secure. So you never ever have to worry about data being compromised. So with that, I'm at the end of my demo. So I'm going to pass things back over to Ashni, and she's going to give us a couple examples of how these BI tools have helped our customers increase their efficiency in their organization.
Thanks, Curtis. Thank you for that demo. Like Curtis said, I'm just going to quickly talk about a couple of examples that we saw very recently where this connector helped out a lot. We had a service firm that approached us recently. They had manual processes around tracking time and projects, and they actually ran into costing challenges. And they were not able to perform the cross analysis at all. So this was severely limiting their ability to completely any sort of, do any sort of analysis and to use this information in any meaningful way. Also making things even more difficult was the fact that data was encased in a closed system, and it proved difficult to connect this to any sort of the BI tools that they had with them. So after adopting Replicon, the organization was able to easily sort through and display their data in a meaningful way. Using Replicon and Power BI, the organization was actually able to improve their reporting in a number of different ways. Replicon was able to track resources for them. We were able to show them the project data in a more efficient and accurate manner than Excel actually could ever do. Also, using the Power BI integration, the organization was able to calculate the productivity by department and drill it down by user to analyze the information throughout the different time periods to better understand their company's health. We also had another example of a transportation company that tracked employee overtime data in Excel. They had no way to internally track time and shift data so that they could plug into an analytics tool. They needed a better way to track the worker fatigue in order to ensure their safety and better utilize their resources. After getting on board with Replicon, they were able to actually track the 100% of their employees' time in our platform. With that, I'm going to summarize everything that we have spoken about till now. Here's a quick look at the benefits and how we've helped businesses like yours in reducing revenue leakage, improved utilization, streamlined workflows, compliance, and all the other accounting standards that you have today. With that, I wanted to quickly rerun on the different capabilities of Replicon that you can leverage. We have a comprehensive suite to help businesses manage all their time, projects, compliance, people, and profit. And today we just saw some of the capabilities around business intelligence and data analytics. Now I'm going to open the forum for questions. And while everybody does that, here are a couple of resources that are available to you. I am right now sharing these resources in the chat with all of you so that you can take your time and look through them. These include some workbooks as we saw in the demo and an information video that you can make use of. All right. With that, I'm going to open the forum for questions. And all right. Thanks everyone for joining in. You have a great day ahead. Happy holidays to everybody, and thank you for staying connected. Thank you. Bye bye.